Hi, my name is Arun Blair-Mangat. I'm an actor and I was most recently performing in the hit West End show and Juliet. I went into my line of work because I always had a passion for performing, and I feel like theatre is a beautiful hybrid of two of my loves, which is film and screen and music. And musicals kind of embody that in a really wonderful way. And I would also shout out Chickenshed Theatre Company, which is a place I went to from the age of 6 to the age of 18. It's an incredible, wonderful, inclusive theatre company that celebrates, elevates and illuminates people of all backgrounds, different ethnicities, different abilities, different genders, different identities basically. And I think being able to go there and express my passion and my love for performing, I realized that it's actually a tangible, realistic, professional career as well. My career background is predominantly in theatre as an actor. I've been working now for about 11 years professionally. At the age of 18, I was really lucky. I got signed to an agent and I started kind of hitting the ground running and going out on auditions, and within a couple of weeks I booked my first role and kind of haven't really looked back. And you know, work begets work, and experience really helps to build one's confidence, and then with that you kind of feel a little bit more capable of being in the midst of your dreams and your goals. I started in a UK tour of an original British musical, and the most recent job I did before the onset of this current situation that we're in was also an original British hybrid musical. It was written by a Canadian writer, but I'd arguably say it was a British musical, although it uses the music of a Swedish pop powerhouse, the legendary Max Martin. I'm very grateful for all of the obstacles and challenges and experiences along the way for the past 11 years, because I feel like everything has made me a greater artist and has informed me as an artist as well. With regards to my training, I actually went to the London School of Economics and did a history degree. So it's a little bit different avenue to get into the world of acting in the showbiz industry, but I'm really grateful for the arsenal that I feel like it's equipped me with, and the knowledge is power. So for me, I felt very passionate and very enthralled by the idea of going to a university where I could broaden my horizons and my intellect. I was definitely intrigued by drama school when I was looking at my options post-secondary education, and also I was intrigued by art school, but I think I had such a compulsion towards learning more about the world, because innately, as an actor, I tell stories, and as a writer, I write and illuminate stories, and what better way to understand stories than learning about history, her story, right? So that was kind of my access point into that, but it was tough. I balanced it with my acting career, and at times it was very taxing, but I'm very grateful and I do not regret what I opted to do, which was a university degree. Right, so there are so many avenues now in this day and age of ways to penetrate the industry, get into the industry. I think when I was coming up, I used to exhaust open calls, whether that was in the stage or in, forums, online, casting call websites. Now I know that Backstage is a great resource. Spotlight can be great if you're able to get onto it. But to be honest, Twitter, I think, is one of the best, if not the greatest tools for seeing auditions and casting calls and getting in touch with people, and sometimes posting calls yourself if you're a writer or creator, or a producer, director. Instagram can also be good. I've actually booked some work via Instagram, controversial, I know, but I think embracing social media and the fact that it is actually a networking tool, if used wisely and correctly, can be really empowering, actually. So I would encourage that. And also, a lot of theatres do schemes for young writers. So if you're 16 to 25, I like to think young is up to the age of 40 now, but there are lots of entry-level schemes that are available via the different theatres, regionally and in the city, in London. I don't want to pretend like you can get a leg up if you have contacts, or people in the industry, or your dad's best friend happens to work for Warner Brothers or Pinewood. That definitely helps. I have a lot of people who I've come across in my career who have been afforded opportunities because of their circumstance, but I would never hold that against anyone. I think if you're able to enfranchise others around you and help them and, turn around and offer your hand out and pull them up along the rungs of the ladder along with you, then that's beautiful. Unfortunately, that doesn't happen a lot, and I feel like in this country we can be quite close-minded, and also there's a lot of segregation between the different disciplines artistically, which does frustrate me, but I feel bolstered. I always look out for my tribe, I always look out for the people around me, and I think you've got to be the change that you want to see. So I would encourage people to be generous, open-minded and kind towards one another. But I didn't have any contacts. I mean, I'm one of 4 brothers and we're all creative and artistically inclined, so we have each other to support one another, and that's really beautiful and enriching, and not everyone is afforded that luxury, so I'm very grateful for that, for sure. On a day-to-day basis, at the moment, I find that a lot of yoga helps to center my mind. I write every day in some capacity to stretch that muscle, flex that muscle. And in terms of acting, I consume a lot of content, which I know sounds maybe redundant or silly, and a lot of people do, but I have my subtitles on so I can see the construction of each scene and the dialogue. I listen to the cadence and rhythm, and I watch people's performances. If there are specific actors that I'm drawn to, I will watch their filmography, and the same applies to directors. And with regards to music, I really find that I'm drawn to certain artists, and then I'll kind of unpick and try to figure out what is successful about the way that they are portraying their songs and their stories through song. So that's something that everyone can do regardless of where you are in the world, and I would encourage that. And then read plays, read scripts, read books, read. It's incredible, it's liberating, it's a form of escapism, which is important now more than ever, and I would strongly encourage and implore you all to read more. What do I enjoy most about having an artistic job? Well, actually, I would contest that I have an artistic career, and the beauty of being an artist is exactly that. So, although I'll go from job to job as an actor and as a writer, job to job, I inherently love to create and be in a state of mind and a mindset where I can create, where I can play, and where I can have dialogue and discourse and debate with those around me to challenge me and force me to look at things in different ways, or maybe subvert my opinions or the way that I'm presenting a character or writing a character. That to me is really exciting, and that's something I probably enjoy the most about my chosen field and my chosen career. I get asked this a lot: how easy is it to progress within this industry? And there's no clear-cut answer, because it's so specific to each person as you navigate and foray into this kind of unknown, especially now. I think arguably the theatre particularly has been decimated, and we're going to have to rise from the ashes like a phoenix, and I'm very hopeful that it will in a wonderful, colourful, beautiful way. But it's important that you have guidance and support. Try and find mentors, try and be inspired, try and find a way of realizing that you being innately who you are and inherently who you are is the most liberating thing that you can do, and understand that when you're being cast, if you're an aspiring actor, so many people are capable of playing roles, and it's not really ever personal. Sometimes someone might just align to the vision of the director and the creative team that little bit more than you, but it's not because they're any better or any worse. It can just be so many circumstances that come into play and so many factors that come into play, and I think that's really important to understand. And also, as creators, we get better with age and time and experience, so I feel like I'm a better artist now in my late 20s than I was at 18 when I started, just because I've been exposed to more things in my life and in the world. And if you're able to absorb all of that and pull from it and draw from it, then that enriches you as an artist and as a human. Being an actor means, for me, being versatile and being malleable, but also understanding how to be a version of yourself within so many circumstances and environments. So with regards to auditioning, for theatre in particular, it can involve a lot of rounds and a long process, sometimes an arduous process. For the musical that I was in, and Juliet, I first read the script in 2017, and I did a read through, and then I did a workshop in 2018. A workshop is when you are talking through the text and the songs and trying to put certain scenes on its feet with the creative team and seeing if it has any legs to come to the stage and be a fully realised show. And by the end of 2018, I'd been cast. By 2019, we did a 5-week workshop in Development Lab, And then we went into the official rehearsal process in the summer of 2019, and it was first presented professionally at the Manchester Opera House in autumn 2019 before coming to the West End. And that was arguably a 2-year process, over 2-year process in some ways. And I think things take time. I think it's important to stress that. Sometimes the preparation is that long. Sometimes you do a self-tape and you're on set a couple of months later and you've just done that one scene. It really fluctuates, and I think it's about understanding that there's not one specific carbon copy process that is applicable to all acting situations and circumstances. How do I make my CV stand out? I guess as an actor and an artist is a little bit different because you have an actor's CV, but you just kind of have your credits on it. So it's not a case of adding text or blurb or look at me, because usually it's quite uniform and it's presented on Spotlight, which is a website which as an actor usually subscribe to, and it's where your credits, your CV is hosted, so it makes it easy for casting directors to filter through and find specifications and search via specifications for said actor, actress, person that they would like to call in. But I think it's about curating a healthy body of work, and I think I've only really understood that in the past couple of years. It's about, sometimes no is the most powerful word you can say. Saying no to an opportunity that seems tempting and alluring, but actually is going to take you further afield from your target, your goal, the kind of roles that you want to play. And obviously we need to work and we want to grow, but at the same time, sometimes doing the wrong kind of work is going to be more debilitating in the long run. And I've learned that sometimes the hard way, but I think I would encourage you to be bold in the choices that you make and the risks that you make, and be proud of the decisions that you make, so that when you are aligning them and putting them down on a piece of paper or online in a CV way, as an actor or as a writer, as a creative, you are proud of everything that you've done and you don't shy away from that fact. I think the best way to stand out in an audition is to be yourself. Be prepared, do as much text, homework, study as you can. If it's a revival of a show, then look at archival footage or read plays or read interviews or understand how the productions were maybe done in the past, and then you can be informed of what you want to take from that or maybe don't want to take from that. If it's a new piece, it's a little harder, especially if it's cryptic or you sign an NDA, but often for theatre, sometimes they'll send the whole play. Read it. Assassinate the text, think of the character's arc and the intentions, do your homework. Part of why you've chosen this field is because you love all that as well, and I think lean into that. Sometimes that's the best part of the process. It's the development, it's the understanding who the character innately is, it's the rehearsal, it's making the mistakes with the team and molding who this person is within the confines of a stage or the parameters of a sound stage if you're on set. And having that play, because, you know, we play, we create. It should be fun. Yes, it's work, but we've chosen this because we're passionate about it. We love it. And I would say, stand out, be yourself. And that's cliche, but you know, Oscar Wilde said, be yourself, everyone else is already taken. And I can't say any better than myself, so any better than that. So I'm just going to pull from the wonderful Wilde. Normally when you're starting out as an actor, predominantly in theatre, you might get a role in the ensemble if you're in a musical, or maybe in a play as well. You might have a small role where you have a couple of lines or you're in a few scenes, or you might also inherit understudy responsibilities, which means that you would fulfill if one of the leads if they're off sick or unavailable for a performance. And that's a really good entry into the industry because I think you're able to watch. Like, I started out playing supporting role and then I did quite a bit of understudying and swinging. In my first, swinging is when you cover multiple roles within the ensemble. So you understand loads of tracks within the tapestry of the machine of a show. And I think that was incredible for me to experience because I learned to be proactive but also reactive and reciprocate and react to energies and different people's cadences and rhythms and ways of working, which meant that it encouraged me to be even more versatile and be a bit more like clay. But now I also trust in my decisions that I make a little bit more because I've kind of learned from so many theatre titans and legends, and I've been able to be like, oh, I like the way that they do that, approach that. And I think for me, it's about being keen to learn. So just because you finish drama school, you do your degree, doesn't mean you know everything. You're literally at the very beginning. You're on the cusp, on the horizon, on the threshold of a wealth of new information and opportunities and experience. I think be open to that and be open to kind of being overwhelmed with that, actually. I think it can be really illuminating to understand that you're taking the first step in what's going to be a lifelong road ahead. I mean, it's really hard to say because it depends on what avenue and field you go in within the acting industry. Within theatre, there are equity minimums that specify what you should be being paid at the lowest end, and that's all available online. And obviously, as I'm sure you all know, at the top end of the spectrum of industry, you can be earning millions for a film, and it's such a crazy sliding scale. And I think also society perpetuates the notion that all actors are Hollywood actors, and that's like the tiniest slice. But you can make a really good living as a storied, and have a storied, illustrious career as a theatre actor. And some of my favourites predominantly will stick to theatre, plays, musicals, and they work consistently, and it's so admirable. And I think that's something that we need to shout about, celebrate a little bit more. I think one thing I'd say to a young person who's wanting to explore this field, this wonderful, whimsical, beautiful, maddening industry, is to be in it for the long run. Trust the long game. Trust yourself. Trust your ability. Be willing to be adaptable in the sense of be willing and open to growth. Don't think you know it all. I learn every day. I'm always open to notes. I'm always learning to better myself. Sometimes tough love is so honest that it hurts. But try to surround yourself with a team and a tribe and friends and people who elevate and celebrate you, but remain truthful and honest and authentic to that. I think sometimes when you're playing constantly and creating, you can get caught up in the wonder and the magic of it all. And it's important to still stay grounded and rooted and allow those roots to go deep into the ground so that you feel earthed and you feel like you know innately who you are. Like, that's always going to change because I think as artists we're empaths, I like to think, and we feel so deeply, which is why we're able to pull from that emotion. But look after yourself, love yourself, and have fun.